very, very good driver.
Ooh, can you hear me? Ooh.
I mean, minus a few spins, but I
Yeah,
mean,
right, yeah.
a very good driver. Hello and welcome back to part 2 of my incredible interview with Howard Donald. So part 1 was brilliant and I can't wait for you all to listen to part 2. But please do make sure you like and subscribe. What's kind of like the biggest rush? Would you say, you know, filling out Wembley Arena, you know, literally about to walk on, hearing the crowd going absolutely nuts, or sitting in that driver's seat? I know it's hard.
Yeah, I'd say sitting in the driver's seat is probably more nerve-wracking. I think because of your 5 to 6 weeks of rehearsals to get your show prepped, ready for wherever you play. And obviously, yes, you know, your first night is really nerve-wracking, thinking, am I going to forget the lyrics there?
Yeah.
Am I going to make a wrong move there? Or is that piece of technical equipment going to work? You know, you've always got these sort of things going around in your head.
Yeah.
But racing is so,
Yeah.
racing is like, it's, because you're out of you're totally out of your comfort zone, and it's, even with DJing, for instance, I know skipping about a bit here, but even with DJing, you're going out to a crowd that want to hear house music, which is what I play, and they're not there for you because, you know, you get a crowd of them that are there for you, but you get people that are local to that club every week. You've got to try and make them happy. You've got to try and get the people on the dance floor. And that, at the same time, is a very nerve-wracking thing to be able to, right, am I going to get this right? Am I going to get the first record right? Whereas take that, you know it. You know what you're doing. You know your songs. It's I've just skipped from being on stage to DJing to racing.
No, I mean, I totally get it. And it's kind of like when you're doing Take That, yeah, exactly. Everyone is there. They know the words to that song there. Whereas when you're DJing, yeah, suddenly if people start peeling off, you're a bit like, oh, crikey, got to get everyone dancing again, or, you know, or being behind the wheel of a car about to start a race, you can kind of, that panic you've got. Yeah, I can understand how those two are kind of bit
and I've
similar.
never ever expected to, win any trophies or be at that, at the front when I'm racing. I'm purely doing it for pleasure, but you know, you do have that little instinct and you're thinking, oh, what if?
Yeah.
You know, and a couple of times I've raced with Andrew Jordan, and you know, I've come first, you know, because he's my partner, and he's done so well.
Yeah.
You know, not that I'm
that
I'm a bad driver. I'm actually okay at racing.
You're a very good driver. I've seen you, and I've also seen kind of inboards of you going around Goodwood and Silverstone. You're a very, very good driver.
Ooh, can you hear me? Ooh.
I mean, minus a few spins, but I mean, a very good driver, honestly.
Yeah, and I do love it, and it's one of those things, again, because if you go away from it for a long time, it makes you even more nervous to get back into it again and start it again.
Yeah. So going back to, you know, this amazing collection, because they're really diverse. I mean, you've got F40 there. I mean, it's just amazing. When you started with your first car, to buy the next, were you know, what homework were you putting in? Why did you choose that car? Why did you choose that car? What's the whole kind of thought process?
I think with the first one, I was in LA. One of the producers had a silver 230 SE. I think it's an SE, but he had a 230, and he had a silver with red interior. And I always wanted a silver with red interior Mercedes. And I thought, I've got to go back and I've got to look for one of these cars. And this guy from Ferrari, actually, who I bought the Scuderia from, he said, you know, I've found you a car, which is a hairpin company. You probably know it. But it's not silver, it's blue. It's blue and blue. And I thought, oh God, I'm not so sure about that.
Yeah.
But then when you actually go and see it in the skin and you see how amazing it looks, I thought straight away, I've got to get this car.
Yeah.
You know, I sort of lost everything about the silver car with red interior and went for that.
And there's a lot of trust, I suppose, that you have to put on the person that's taking you to see these cars. Has there been any mistakes of trusting a seller that you've got the car and it's just been a disaster?
Well, that Cadillac there.
I love it. Start. Yeah, the Cadillac.
Right. As beautiful as it is, it's such an amazing car, and I love 50s design of America. I mean, I love 50s design of American cars.
Yeah.
Anything modern, I'm not really a massive fan. But it came over from Illinois. It looked amazing, had all stupid green lights, and they put all sorts of stuff in. And the guy that sold it was, you know, bigging this car up, and he even done a YouTube video of this guy interviewing him with this car. And it came over, and I said, right, they've obviously talked about a few little holes in the floor where your feet go. And he stripped it down. It was literally made of all this body work and all this filler everywhere. Oh, no. Bullet holes everywhere.
Bullet holes?
You know, like bullet holes.
No. What was it, mafia car?
Bullet holes of rust everywhere. And the guy that was painting it said, I actually hate this job. I'm not doing anything for you ever again. I'm going to retire after this. And it just took so long to do. And obviously being in black being one of the worst colours to keep clean. Yeah. And it came through. But
it was out. So when you got it back here, how long was it in the?
Oh God, it was in quite a while. It was in for about 4 to 6 months of being painted and stuff. And the story about this car, where my kids go, they're always like raising money for the school. And somebody bid for me to take them out in this Cadillac for a little trip.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right. A little trip into Chichester for lunch. Take them there.
Chichester's
wait around for an hour, then pick them up, then bring them back. So I took this. They bid for this thing for me to take them to lunch in Chichester, and they paid quite a lot of money for it. So I took them, got them there, and on the way back, the car started going. And these two women in the car, and I thought, oh God! And I saw the temperature gauge go all the way to the top. The car was losing power, and I had to stop at the side of the road on this country lane on this corner, which is quite a busy road coming from Chichester. Yeah.
Oh my God!
And
so embarrassing.
I think the engine's actually seized on it, so I'm waiting for an LS engine to put in it. Which is like an LS3 or an LS6 to put inside it, which is like basically what they put in the modern American stuff, you know, like the Corvettes and stuff like that. Something that's really reliable.
It's got a sound, exactly.
Yeah, so that was
so
really
you're
embarrassing.
Side of the road going, please, Earth, just swallow me up right now. And these poor ladies in the back seat. Yeah. So that's the biggest one, is it?
And I was so apologetic about it because it was on this corner, and I literally, because it was on an hill, I managed to reverse it into this little space on this verge. And the AA man who came, he said, if you would have stayed there, the police would have had to come and close the road and bring one of those things. And then I was worried about the suspension on it because it's got air suspension. I thought, please don't go down the air suspension because you won't even get it on a low loader.
No, it's too
because look how low it is. You won't even get it.
So low anyway.
And luckily the air suspension stayed up, and we didn't have to have one of those things that you wrap round and bring it up on the side.
So so not the best, but better memories now.
Air suspension is a pain in the arse.
It really is. Yeah, especially when you live in the UK. In America, it's okay.
It's all right.
Okay, so, and out of most of them, which has been one that's really surprised you in a really good way? Like, how much fun have you had driving it, or, you know, just pleasure driving?
I sold, I think you saw it, I met you when I saw you at Goodwood Members Meeting. I had a 65 911. Which was a beautiful car, and I sold it to buy another car, which is kind of what I have to do nowadays because of the room I've got. And I love my road legal race cars, if you know what I mean. Like the 356, I love driving that back and forward to Manchester. You can't hear anything when you're driving it, but
Yeah, you're
that's
deaf
the
when you get
pleasure of
out.
it because it's on an open exhaust. And I think one of the cars that has probably most surprised me is probably the first car I ever bought, because not only am I massively into Porsche, but I'm massively into Mercedes because they're just workhorses, and that's taken me all around Europe, all around Germany, Belgium, Holland, Le Mans, and it's never missed a beat.
Yeah.
And it's been so reliable. And that's like a 1970 car, and it's
No, they're the best.
so good.
And going back to Le Mans, you actually managed to get a couple of laps.
Yes, I did.
Oh, tell me about that.
I've got a GT2, a Champion GT2, with Champion being the sponsorship of it. I've got a picture here.
Go on, let me see.
I get my picture.
Oh, look at that.
Unfortunately, it's not here.
Oh, that is just...
But that's the Champion GT2, and that was, I think it's won at Sebring and Daytona, or come second in Daytona. So it's got a good little history. And I managed to get a friend of mine, Jarrah Venables. He runs Endurance Legends at different tracks around Europe, and he had this going at Le Mans.
And you bought this specifically just to race, just to have fun racing, or?
No, that was one I saw at Henry Payman's.
Oh God!
That was one I saw at Henry Payman's.
Every single
I
one
thought,
there you go.
I want that one.
I want that one.
I want
that one.
And I saw it and I thought, oh God, look how low that car is at the back. Look how wide the arches are on that, and it just looks
stunning.
Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
And I've been on many track days in that car.
Yeah.
And I got the chance to do this Endurance Legends, which is basically a demo lap going round with all these Bentley Speed. Is it Bentley Speed 8?
Yes.
Bentley Speed 8 and all these amazing champion cars that have won loads of things round Le Mans for about 3 laps.
Amazing.
And it was incredible, absolutely incredible. But now Endurance Legends, they race the cars now, so...
That's an option.
Yeah, it's an option, but I'm not so sure I'd want to risk it, you know.
Yeah, I know, especially if it's your baby. But I mean, so no kind of dreams or aspirations to do the 24-hour or 12.
I think if you're going to do that, I'd probably do the one where they do the VWs around Spa, is it?
Yeah.
What are they called? But they have the VWs, and even those, they do like Citroen races, don't they?
Yes, so it's a little bit more...
Just a bit fun,
funner.
You know, rather than trying to be something that you're not.
And they're quick.
Yeah,
they're so quick.
They're super quick. I'm thinking of getting that road legal, actually.
Yeah, why not?
Because he's stuck there. He's stuck there, maxed page, and not doing anything. I'm thinking, just get it road legal so you can actually
what would the alterations
drive it around the street. Well, handbrake for starters. I think they have to remap the engine so it's not so
shouty.
Yeah, so shouty, even though I love a shouty engine.
Yeah.
And obviously to do with the suspension and the shocks and everything like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
fuel.
Yeah, fuel, that's running off race fuel at the moment.
Yeah,
so
exactly. You'll need to.
Yeah, that'd have to be changed.
Yeah. God, that would be amazing to get on the road.
Imagine driving around that with race fuel.
Yes, don't. I'm especially going to have to do an episode of Kid in the Sweet Shop if that happens.
Yeah.
Okay, and then going to a kind of slightly obvious question, but what would, if you had an open checkbook, what's the dream car?
Probably a McLaren F1. Don't tell me, I bet you've driven one. Have you driven a Ferrari GTO, 250 GTO? Have you? Oh, see, those are the cars. The F1 in silver, and the GTO 250.
Yeah, it's a very special car.
Oh my God! I mean, I don't even know how much they're worth now. I mean, about 40 million.
40, 50, yeah. It depends.
Yeah, see, the McLarens have gone crazy, haven't they?
McLaren's
they're like 20 million now.
Yeah, they really, and
Didn't Chris Evans sell like a couple of his Ferraris to get one?
Yes. Yeah, he did them all white, didn't he? Anyway, let's move on from that. Okay, so there was. Tell me, you got a Pagani story because you got offered a Pagani once, didn't you? What was that story?
Well, the Pagani story is I decided. Well, it's one of those things where you're looking at videos on YouTube, and I saw this Pagani Zonda R. And I can't remember how many they made. It was like 15 or 25 or
very small.
Very low numbers of this car. Yeah. And I was watching this car and hearing the noise of it, and it was like a 7-point something Mercedes engine they've got in there, something crazy. But the noise is phenomenal. So I decided to go over there with a friend, Lee Maxey Page, who's like a Porsche specialist. I went over there with him.
To the factory.
Yeah. Got invited there, looked around all the factory and looked how stuff was made, and it's in attention to detail, isn't it, there? Even like down to the smallest screw. Yeah. And saw this Zonda R, which was for sale, which was obviously crazy money. Got
when was this? How long ago was
this? Oh God, you're asking me now. I don't actually know. I can't actually remember when this was. I'm trying to remember when I bought the 962. I'd say it was probably 8 years ago. Okay. Something like that. Yeah. And went there, took for lunch by the man himself.
Horatio.
Yeah. Yeah. And went home and thought it's actually a little bit too expensive.
What was it?
It's a 1.6 million euro. And but at the same time, there's this little niggle in my head saying, even if I had it, it wouldn't be able to show it off because track days nowadays, they've really clamped down on having noisy days. So they're like 98 decibels or 105 decibels.
It's a little bit over that, I think.
Yeah. So it's a little bit over that, probably about 130. So I thought, I'm not even going to be able to take it on a track day, and I thought, I'm not even going to get any use of it. The only thing I'm going to do is be able to look at it and stroke it, maybe watch it grow as an investment. But so then I went to, again, Henry Pearman, saw him, and I saw a Repsol 962, Porsche 962, bought that.
So you had, instead of the Pagani, you went for the 962?
Yeah.
To race?
Not even to race, to maybe go around the tracking.
Yeah.
I didn't have it in my head thinking I'm going to race this against other 962s. Because I don't really, maybe I don't give myself enough credit of how I can drive cars, but I never put myself in that sort of bracket where I'm a great racer against other people in 962s. So I didn't even drive it once.
You what? You didn't drive it once?
No, didn't drive it once, unfortunately, because it needed crack testing. It needed everything doing to it, all the pipes, all the fuel lines, and all the brakes and everything. And when you look at the price of, when you're spending that kind of money, you need to have the money. It's like buying $1 million house and having no money left to actually do anything to it. It's kind of like that. That's kind of what the car is. Yeah. And I never raced it, so I ended up selling it in auction at Gooding.
So which one have you driven the most, you think? The first one, the Merc,
I've driven the Merc the most, even in summer, obviously, because it's a soft top.
Yeah. And the Gullwing, what have you done in the Gullwing? Because it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
What was that moment? When did you decide to get the Gullwing?
That was from Henry Pearman.
Henry's.
Yeah, that was from Henry Pearman again. And it's one of the cars I'd actually keep hold of. If I could keep hold of any car in this,
It's so beautiful, and even to drive. I mean, it's not normally you get very beautiful cars to look at, but then you drive them and you're like, oh God.
Yeah, and they're quite heavy on the steering, aren't they? But and you think if you go around the corner too fast with that, you're thinking, oh my God, how are you going to get out of this?
Oh my God, it does. I've followed packs of them in the Mille Miglia, and they can handle beautifully.
Yeah, I love the one that Coulthard races at Goodwood.
Yes.
Well, that's the race version, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a little bit.
Amazing car.
I mean, it is very beautiful. Do you get to drive these often?
I try to drive them as often as I can. Come winter though, it's a difficult thing in it. I know with my 560 SEC, I've driven that a lot in winter.
Yeah.
And I've realised the AMG wheels that I bought some AMG wheels for it from Germany.
Yeah.
And I've realised now what salt damage actually does. If you don't wipe the salt off the wheels, the wheels are completely screwed because of the salt damage on it. So I know not to take out cars in the winter unless you're literally going to jet wash the underneaths.
Yeah,
and,
there's
and
a
the wheels.
lot of especially when you start getting classics, there's they've got to be treated in the right way, and got to look after them. So. So what's the future? What's the future for your collection? What's the future for you as a racing driver? And then finish it, what's the future with the musical side?
Yeah, so I think with the cars, it's one of those where it's a room issue. So you literally have to sell a car.
Jammed in,
You have to sell a car to buy a car, and then when as you get older and when Take That is not around anymore, and you realise actually I've got to pay for that for my daughter's going into into university now, or my 10-year-old boy, I'm going to try and give him the best possible education that I can possibly give him. I have to sell a car. I have to free up some money to. So in my head, I've sort of getting around it. That's what I have to do. Even though I've told my kids that you're not getting any of them, and I'm going to bury them with me when I die. So that's the future of the cars.
That's good. That's investment.
I think with racing, I think it's going to be, is it the HRDC?
Yes.
HRDC. I've done quite a few bits with HRDC, and that's probably my thing, to just do amateur.
Gentleman driver.
Yeah, gentleman driver, amateur racing.
Lovely.
Even though everyone thinks they're a professional on the career, everyone's like, don't care about the cars, don't care what they smash into, too much money. So I'm trying to be. The problem is with the Lotus Cortina, as an amazing car as it is, it's done by Jordan Racing, and the car is absolutely pristine.
Mint.
And I'm thinking, no,
go
away from my car, go away from my car. I don't want you to bump my car,
exactly.
And then by the time they bumped it, $5,000 later when you've had a spray job on the back, you're thinking, this is like money just going out the window,
Little
Racing
bonfire.
is like so expensive.
I know.
Yeah.
But there's that, you've got to get out and do more singing.
Yeah, well that's it. Well, that's what I'm doing this. That's what I'm doing this year. That's what I'm coming on to.
Tell me.
So
or can we say it?
So we have a big show in Finland, big show in Denmark in the summer, and we're doing British Summertime Hyde Park on the 1st of July. We've got a film coming out in June, which is called Greatest Days, which is a proper film about the. It's not a documentary. It's about 5 fans. And it's it's a beautiful story. Brilliant. Yeah, so that's.
So you're in it as yourself, or it's actually actors in it?
Actors.
So
we play a cameo role and a busking on a train. Oh. So Aisling Beer.
Yes.
She plays the main. She plays the main part.
Amazing.
And we have an album coming out. We're writing it at the moment. So it's supposed to be.
Yes.
Yeah, we're doing lots of writing. Started that. Middle of last year. It's kind of how far ahead you have to start writing.
Absolutely.
So the album will be coming out at the end of the year.
And when do you all go and meet together to write?
It's supposed to be LA in January.
Okay.
And New York in February.
Right.
And London as well to do more writing. Okay. So that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And we have the tour, which is already planned in 24. Which is after.
So you're definitely gonna have to get a bigger garage.
Yeah, I am. You have to use someone else's, I think. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so exciting.
I might have to just cover all that there along there and
just get a lift.
Yeah.
And then.
That's one of the other ideas. Is one of those storage lifts. A couple of them down there.
Yes, they're brilliant. So really exciting couple of years. We Take That coming up. And that, I suppose, equates to really exciting, maybe future cars coming in to the fold.
Yeah, like I say, I've got to be careful, and I'm...
What would it be if it was, obviously maybe not the GTO or
I'll tell you what it would be.
Yeah.
I looked at it on the RM auctions, Sotheby's.
Love RM.
Just gone. The wide-bodied Mercedes 560 AMG.
Yes,
That's one of my dream cars, and it's like a 6-litre, and it was estimated at between $235,000 to $270,000, and it went for $720,000. I thought, oh no, went for that amount, and maybe that's the set price of what they are now. But I know they only made 50, I think.
Yeah,
I think they only made 50 of these things, and that is one of my dream cars, because it's like the SEC. I drive it everywhere, up and down to Manchester, and it's just like this cruiser, this like. But I know the AMG will have a grunt to it, and it's wide, and
So that's next on the list.
Yeah, it's next on the list.
Well, I mean, do you think we could take one out today for a little 5 minutes?
I'll let you choose.
You're joking.
You
really?
choose.
Well, amazing. Thank you so much. It's
You're
been
welcome.
such, it's so inspirational seeing, someone that is so brilliant at their profession that, has then equated beautiful, beautiful collection of cars as well. Just well done.
No,
Big, massive pat on the back.
Thank
You must be really proud.
I love the cars. Love cars.
You're a superstar. Right, I'm going to choose. Yes! Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed that. Bye-bye.